Hi, good morning, everyone, and I would like to thank Times of India for this invitation and this possibility of discussing something as esoteric as meditation in a lit fest. So, since this is supposed to be a workshop, I'll keep things a little interactive, and if everyone is interested, also give you all actual experience of this meditation, because I think end of the day the proof of the pudding is in the eating. But before I talk about meditation, let's hear from you guys. How many of you have had an experience of some kind of meditation? Any practice, any meditation? Well, that's quite a few hands, but there are some who've not. But let me clarify or say that it may sound strange, but we have all meditated in our lives in some form or
Sure.
the other. The word meditation comes from the Latin word mediate, which literally means to think about one thing continuously. So it could be something that we are very fond of, it could be a worry, it could be some passion, which we tend to think about all the time. And hence, whether we are conscious of it or not, we are meditating, we have all meditated, and presumably without realizing, we will continue to meditate. So now, the subject that I was supposed to be speaking about is demystifying meditation. And then there are three other words, the heartfulness way. So why demystify meditation? Demystify meditation is because the first instance or the first reaction all of us have when we talk about meditation is that it is something very esoteric, it is something very perhaps difficult, it is something which a lot of us aspire to, but at times are scared to even try. Scared because we don't know whether we'll succeed or not. We've been told meditation means to sit in one place for a long time, and we are not really tuned to do something like that. In today's age and times when we are so busy with gadgets, busy with so many interests. I will not say in the negative sense, but we have so many interests, and time at hand is so short. I want to do so much in such a short time. Will I really be able to sit and meditate? So this attempt is to demystify meditation by telling you all that consciously or otherwise, we have been meditating or we do meditate all the times. So what is different over here? Why we talk about the heartfulness way? The difference I would suggest or say is that when we talk about a specific meditation, here it's a conscious act. Conscious in the sense that we decide that in our lives we may have a lot of activities, in our lives we may have a lot of things to do and interests to pursue. But how do we balance our inner and outer lives? By doing something consciously. The act of meditation, which as I mentioned we have been doing a lot of times, all the time, becomes a very conscious, deliberate act. Why heartfulness or how heartfulness? Heartfulness is a very simple technique. We talk about of the heart and from the heart. That's the whole idea. The heart has a very primary role in our lives. Whatever we do is finally derived or dictated by our hearts. And hence, it is the fulcrum or the center not only of our physical bodies, but around which our life works. Our activities, whatever we think, whatever we do, to a large extent is a reaction of what we are feeling in our hearts. Now, I will not talk too much because I think the easiest way of demystifying something as esoteric as meditation is to perhaps give you all an experience of what it is all about. It's a very simple technique. It is something which I can assure you all of us can do. And if we make an attempt, let us try to experience this firsthand for ourselves. After we do the session, we can take some questions. If you all have queries or any questions, we can do that. But let's try this out first because, as I said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So the first thing we need to do is, and the most important prerequisite for meditation is to be in a relaxed state. There is a very simple relaxation technique, but since time is short, I will not go through that. But if anyone is interested, you can ask me or talk to me separately, where a very simple technique of relaxation can help you reach relaxation. So what I'll do is I'll sit down over here and help you all uh, go through this session. It won't take too much of time. It will be around 10 minutes. What I would suggest or request all of you is to sit very comfortably in a comfortable position and give a suggestion or a thought that there is divine light in our hearts, or there is divine presence in our hearts. Why divine is because we are trying to invoke a consciousness which is higher than ourselves. It doesn't matter what we consider as divinity. This is not a religious thing. It's about a higher aspiration in our lives. So we just need to start off with this thought. Give this thought that there is divinity present in our hearts, in our lives, and try to feel the presence in our hearts. We can think of the physical heart, we can think of the center of the chest. It doesn't matter. In case during this session, if your thought wanders, just gently bring it back to the same attention. Thoughts will wander. It's a natural activity in our lives. It's like in nature, when there is vacuum, all things surrounding it comes in. It doesn't matter. But since they are our thoughts, we are the ones who give it power. So the easiest way is to ignore them. I could say we could ignore them like uninvited guests. If we don't think about the thoughts we get, they will automatically go away. If we try to fight them, they will fight back because they are our thoughts and we give them power. So just gently focus on the heart the next 10 minutes. And when I say that's all, you can open your eyes. And then we can have a small discussion on how we all felt. So I think, are we all ready for this? So just sit comfortably and relax. Close your eyes gently and try to focus on the divine presence in your heart. That is all. Please try to remain focused on your hearts and ruminate over what you felt. And slowly, gently open your eyes, remaining centered with the feeling that we had during the meditation. So friends, I would call that a small glimpse or a small sampler or a small taste of what the experience of meditation is all about, the heartfulness way. I'm sure we do not have too much of time, but if I reach out to some of you, each one of you would have very varied experiences and varied ways of describing this experience. For some, it could have been a very absorbing experience. For some, something which they could not fathom because they were not able to even focus. Would someone like to say something of what you felt? Anybody? Would someone like to share their experience of what they felt? Anyways, I will sum it up for, I'm sure, what various people have experienced, which is that the whole effort and the whole idea of being able to center ourselves, the whole experience of being able to eliminate external influences and try to focus on our hearts, try to focus on what is inside us, can be both a very enriching and a very unnerving experience at the same time. For those of us who are not so used to this, for those of us who are not used to solitude, it can be something which we can get very anxious about. But friends, I can speak from experience. I can speak from my own personal journey, that however so difficult it may seem and appear, it is in reality a very, very simple practice something anyone can do. My 16-year-old son does it, and my 70-year-old father does it, and there are people from all ages, all backgrounds, all socio-economic backgrounds, from educational backgrounds, men and women. The sole qualification for some practice like this is our own interest and our own interest in self-development, whether we want to make an effort to make a difference in our lives. I don't think we have too much of time, but I have a couple of minutes for a Q&A. So in case anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Any questions?
Any charges?
Yeah. So no, there are, so it's a personal journey of self-development. And specific to heartfulness meditation, there are no charges. Because it's like health. Really speaking, I mean, how do you value your health? Similarly, this is about self-development, and there are no charges. Heartfulness, in fact, is an international organization present in more than 160 countries, and a 100% volunteer-driven organization where meditation as a tool for self-development is offered free of cost. There are no charges whatsoever, and it is open to one and all without any distinction of caste, creed, race, religion, whatever. Any other questions? I think she has a question.
Could you please share some excerpts from your personal experience of heartfulness practice?
So I think I joined, or I got exposed to this practice at a very young age. I was 14 when I kind of started, I got exposed to it and I tried it out. And I have been practicing it for the last, 30 years almost. And it has been a very satisfying journey. I do not know how life would have been if I was not practicing this. So in some way, I'm not a good judge because I've been practicing it for far too long. But as I mentioned, even with this whole experience, I think it's an individual journey. Every session is an individual thing. I mean, I have conducted sessions where there are dozens of people, and when we talk post-session, everybody experiences it differently because we all come from various different makeups, various backgrounds, various thoughts and thoughts processes. So I think it's a very personal thing, but I can, from personal experience, say it's a very effective tool. It is something which when we practice, it almost becomes instinctively a part of our routine. It's not a practice, but a way of life. I would recommend that all of you do try it. There is a very simple primer book, since we are in a Lit Fest. There is a bestseller book called The Heartfulness Way. This is written by Daji Kamlesh D. Patel, who is the global guide of heartfulness. And he has written this book, and I'm not sure whether it's available in the bookstore here. It should be. Otherwise, it is an international bestseller and should be available at all bookstores as well as online. So anyone who would like to just get a taste or an understanding of what this practice is all about, please pick up this book and read it. Or else there is an app called Hearts app, which also gives idea of this whole practice. We can practice it in our homes at a time and location of our convenience. Download this app. It's available both for Android and iOS. Again, it is free of cost. And we can experience this practice with a trainer on ourselves at a time of our choosing. It's a very simple system. So both these tools are available. There are very many more. There is a website called heartfulness.org. You can look at that also. And my sincere suggestion and request to all is, give it a try. I think we have nothing to lose. And if it works for us, a lot to gain. So that's what I would suggest. I guess we are right on time, 12 o'clock. So I have 1 more minute.
Yeah, one more question.
Okay, so the last question.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
Hello.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Where is the location for this, and when are the schedule?
So this is, as I mentioned, this practice is available in 160 countries. The basic practice is to be done by ourselves, on ourselves in our homes. There is no specific location and there is no specific timing. You can practice it anytime, anywhere. But there are trainers. So for example, in the city of Calcutta, we have more than 100 trainers. Trainers are volunteers again, who have gone through this journey and have volunteered their time to help others learn and practice this practice. And in the city of Calcutta, we also have a very large meditation center. It's just behind Ruby General Hospital. All the details will be available on the website, or you all can contact me offline after this workshop. And it's not very difficult to locate. There are a lot of people I can see in the audience here also who are trainers, I can connect you with them. But the basic practice is what we need to do in our homes by ourselves. I guess that's about it. Yeah, one more question.
I have one last question. It's related. Thank you for the answer to the previous question. As you see, generally we observe, even here, everywhere, that people say we don't have time. So what would be your take on it? We don't have time for this, that, and the other. So how do we make time for meditation?
I think we make time for whatever interests us. It is true we don't have time. I also don't have time for so many things I would like. And I also have time for everything I want to do. So I think it's a matter of interest and what we prioritize in our lives. It's as simple as that. I mean, today, if I want to go and watch a match, I will make the time for it. If I don't want to watch the match, it will not happen. So I guess all of us know what's important to us. We all know what works for us. So I think where there is interest, there is time. Thank you.
Sir, one question is there.
Haji.
Sir, if you derive some benefits from practicing meditation, what types of benefits you have attained from this meditation and how?
I'll again come back to that example of health. I won't say there is a specific benefit in terms of this thing. But a large benefit could be the absence of a lot of things are not there in our lives. See, meditation helps us focus. Meditation helps us remain attentive to something. So you could say good health is one benefit, but we don't meditate for good health. A student is able to study better, but we don't meditate for becoming a better student. I think it is a way of life which helps us focus. It helps us stay tuned, and it helps us balance our lives. That's the biggest takeaway. Thank you. So thank you everyone for this opportunity. It's been a wonderful audience, and I really hope that all of you will make the time from our busy schedules and make an effort to try this practice, which eventually is for our own development. Thank you very much.